All right, hello and welcome back. It's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers, your favorite network and system attacker. And in today's video, we are going to do Persisting Active Directory, which is a part of the attacks and exploits module of the PenTest Plus pathway of TryHackMe. And as you can tell, we are right near the end here. So we only got these two left, and we will be done with CompTIA PenTest Plus. Most of these things, if not all of these things, I think I've actually done all of these things. Yeah, I have. So there's videos on all of these specific topics, and you're more than welcome to go check them out. They are going to be inside of our channel here. So if you wanted to just kind of roam through all of these pieces of content that have been created, we are now at 81 pieces of content that have been uploaded, and this is all available for you for free. And if you want to just find anything on PenTest Plus, you can search for PenTest Plus, or you can just go search for the individual video that you're looking for example, phishing or anything like that. But today we are going to go into Persisting Active Directory, which is, I would say it's kind of getting to the intermediate level of PenTest, but they still have it listed as a beginner pathway. So this is all beginner stuff. And I'm very, very excited about it because we're getting near the end. If you are studying for PenTest Plus or Ethical Hacker or Cybersecurity Analyst or any of those things, I invite you and encourage you to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell, and maybe even drop a comment. When you do any of those things, two things happen. Number one, you actually help our channel gain a little bit more reach so that we can find more awesome people like you who want to become ethical hackers. But the more important thing that happens is that any of those activities will bring these videos up in your timeline, and you'll see more of them when I drop more of these videos, especially if you turn on that notification bell. When you turn on notification bell, you actually get a notification that says, here's another video on PenTest Plus. And I think it's a win-win situation. And if you are studying for PenTest or Ethical Hack or any of those things, these things are super useful for you. And then you can use them in your studies, and you can kind of run along with them and see what you can do. So hopefully I'll see you in the community, and I would love to see you. And I'm about to do a video pretty soon on all of the people that ended up joining TryHackMe from these links, because it shows me a report of all the people who actually joined TryHackMe from these links, and I'm super excited to actually be able to kind of shout out those people and just let them know that I noticed them. I know that you guys are actually coming on board and starting your own hacking accounts and running with them. So it's very special to me. It's very, very lovely to see people joining the community, and I would love to have you be a part of our community. All right, the introduction of Persisting Active Directory, and just understanding in general persisting means. It's when you get in a system and then you want to stay in the system. That's the easiest way that I can explain it for you. So you do your initial reconnaissance, you do your initial compromise, you establish some kind of a foothold, or you get your foot in the door, and then you escalate your privileges. And then when you're inside of their system, you do internal recon, you move laterally, and you maintain persistence. And you just continue this process until you accomplish whatever your mission is that you're trying to do as the hacker or as the attacker, or in this case, your penetration testing. So whatever your goal would be as the penetration tester. But maintaining persistence means staying in the system. That's basically it. Because you don't want to keep doing this phase to get in. You want to get in and then do something that you stay in. And a lot of times what happens is that if they do some kind of a scan and find out that you were able to get in through some kind of a backdoor or some kind of a vulnerability, they'll patch that vulnerability so that you can't do it anymore. So if you don't stay in the system, you won't have a way in anymore. And that's the issue, right? So the whole idea here is to get in the system and stay in the system. And we've done all of these videos already. So breaching Active Directory, enumerating Active Directory, exploiting Active Directory. We've done all of those videos. So if you haven't seen those, then I recommend you actually go through those so that you have a good foundation for what's going to be happening within this video. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get the credentials and DC syncing, and we'll see what that means, domain controller syncing. I think that's what that stands for. silver and golden tickets, AD certificates, Active Directory identifiers, access control lists, and group policy objects. I also did a video on enumerating Active Directory using PowerShell, so that'll probably end up being pretty useful for you as well. So I would recommend doing all of those videos before doing this video, and then yeah, we'll kind of jump into it. As regular, you know, as normal procedures kind of call for it, we have to resolve our DNS when we go into any of these domains within TryHackMe so that we can attack them and kind of stay in there. So these are the instructions for using the TryHackMe attack box, which reminds me, I need to start the attack box because it takes a few minutes for it to load up. So those are the instructions on this side right here. This is the instructions for using the attack box to configure and resolve your DNS. Then you have any other host, so it could be a Mac OS, it could be a Windows machine, anything else that you want to use to do that resolution. Or if you're going to be using a Kali Linux machine, then this is the instructions for doing that. And these instructions are very solid. I know a lot of people that have used their own Windows or Mac machines or their own Kali machines and have resolved their DNS. Typically, you need to connect to OpenVPN. That's kind of a requirement to connect to the VPN of TryHackMe so that you have an encrypted path or an encrypted access to this network. And then from there, you can follow the instructions for resolving the DNS. And then when you do that, then the rest of the information, the rest of the tasks that we're going to run are not going to give you any issues. And something that does happen that you need to also be aware of is that when you do it, when you actually resolve your DNS, you need to you need to get access to your IP address for your VPN. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. And it's basically this command right here. So you kind of do like an ifconfig or an ipconfig or IPA or IP show, something like that, anything like that, where it would just show you the IP address that's connected to Persist AD network adapter. And that is what we're going to be using for all of our future tasks. So to create reverse shells or to create anything, you're not going to be using your own machine's IP address or the IP address of the attack box, because the attack box also gives its own IP address. We're going to be using the IP address of the VPN that has been resolved to the DNS of TryHackMe. So Persist AD DNS interface, that's what we're going to be using, and that's the IP address that we're going to be using. So my machine is already set up here, so I'm going to kind of go through that real quick and just show you what that means, and then from there we're going to go through the rest of these instructions here. So first and foremost, I just need to open up a terminal, and I need to take note of this IP address that's at the very top here. So it's 10.242.100. That's going to be the IP address that we need to resolve to, 10.242.100. Yeah, 10.242.100. And so this is what the command looks like. And that's the full command right there. So systemd resolve interface is persist AD. Set DNS is going to be the domain name, or the domain, the domain IP address, and then set domain is going to be the domain name. And then you do this and it takes almost instantaneously. And just to confirm and make sure that it's all good, we need to make sure that this is running in a running state. So it shows you right at the top, network state is running. If it's not running, you need to click this start button right here to actually make sure that the network is running, so that when you run that command, it'll connect to the network. And then just to verify that it's actually been done, we just do a simple ns lookup and then thm domain controller.za.tryhackme.loc. And there's that. And so now it should give me the persist AD as well as this IP address. I keep calling it a domain name, but this IP address connected to that interface right here and on the domain name of THMDC. And so we are good. So now we have our domain resolved and ready to continue on with the rest of these attacks. So now we're going to jump into persistence through credentials. Okay, persistence through credentials works like this. So After breaching AD, performing enumeration, and exploiting it all the way to the top, if you have done these AD networks in order, you have finally made it to the Tavern of Persistence. The hard work is over, and now it's time for some fun. So while AD persistence is still serious business, it is really not as stressful as the other phases because we're already in the system, we already have the administrator username and password, so on and so forth. So here we can let our creativity flow free. So rest your weary bones in the tavern, get yourself a nice cup of tea. For me, it's coffee. I have 2 cups of coffee next to me, actually. And together with your low privilege credentials, you will be provided with domain administrator credentials. So what luck. When discussing persistence techniques, we're going to be using the privilege credentials to perform the persistence technique because it doesn't make sense to have persistence as a low-level user, right? You want to gain high-level access, preferably either system or administrator access, and then you establish persistence so that you can always just log back in as the administrator. So this is going to be our admin login. And then since we provide full access over the entire domain, we can't really hide any flags or force you to make sure you perform these techniques yourself before answering the questions. It's however encouraged that you take your time to work through these methods as they will pay dividends in return on a red team assessment. First and least reliable persistence technique that we'll discover is credentials. And some of the lateral techniques discussed in previous rooms would have resulted in the attacker gaining access to credentials. When using the word credentials, it can mean a username and password pair, etc. So we have DC sync. It's not sufficient to have a single domain controller per domain. These domains are often used in multiple regional locations, and having a single DC would significantly delay authentication services in AD. And so what we want to do is we want to get use of their multiple domains. The question becomes, how do you do that? And the answer to that question is domain replication. Each domain controller runs a process called Knowledge Consistency Checker, and the KCC creates a replication topology for the AD forest and automatically connects to other domain controllers through RPC, remote procedure calls, to synchronize information. This includes updated information and a lot of other good stuff. So this is why you have to wait a couple of minutes before you authenticate after you change your password, since the DC where the password changed has to might not necessarily be the same one that where you're authenticating to, so they have to sync each other. The process of replication is called DC synchronization, and it's not just the DCs that initiate replication. Accounts as those belonging to domain administrators and the admin groups also do this. A popular attack to form in a DC sync attack is a DC sync attack, and so if we have access to an account that domain replication permissions, we can access the DC sync. Not all credentials are created equal, so we kind of understand that. You have credentials that have local admin rights to several machines. You have credentials that have service accounts and have delegation permissions, and then you have accounts used for privileged Active Directory services. Usually organizations have a group or two with local admin rights. These groups typically divided into one workstations for one server. By harvesting these credentials, we would still have access to most of the computers in the estate. With the delegation accounts, we could be able to force golden and silver tickets to perform Kerberos delegation attacks. And then the accounts used for privileged AD services are like Exchange and Windows Server, update service, or system configuration manager. We could leverage AD exploitation to once again gain a privileged foothold. DC sync all would be something that can be done, I'm guessing, for all of the domain controllers. So we'll be using Mimikatz to harvest credentials, SSH into THM Work 1 using the domain administrator account and load Mimikatz. And then you essentially just find wherever it's located, and then you just type in mimikatz.exe, and then it'll load that for you. And then we're going to do a DC sync of a single account, which is our own account. And then we're going to run these commands on it. And then we'll see quite a bit of output, including the current NTLM hash of our account. And we can verify the hash is correct by using a website that just verifies hashes. I think there's, I forget what it's called, but there's a really easy database. It's like an online website that you just type in the hash, you paste in the hash, and it automatically tells you if that's the correct password or if that hash exists and what kind of hash it is, so on and so forth. So it's great, but we want DC sync every single account. So to do this, we have to enable logging on Mimikatz, and then we would do the log command and then do the following instructions here. And it says it's going to take a bit of time to complete. So once it's done, we exit Mimikatz to finalize the dump, and then we can download the username and DC dump text file. You can use the cat username DC dump and then grep the SAM username to recover all the usernames, and cat grep hash NTLM for all the hashes. We can now either perform an offline password cracking attack or simply pass the hash attack with Mimikatz. So what is the command to perform a DC sync for the username of test on tryhackme.local domain? And so this is the LSA dump DC sync command, which is probably right at the top here, and this is what they also used when they got here. So let's see what we got when we got into here. This is the full command right here that we could just copy, and the only thing that we need to add to this at the end is the user parameter, the user option right here. So we're going to do /user, and then it's going to be :test, and that's the full command. So to perform a DC sync for the username of test on the TryHackMe domain, this is the command that we're going to run. And what is the NTLM hash associated with the Kerberos TGT user? So for this, we actually have to go into our attack box now, and we are going to use the username and password for admin to log in. So I'm going to clear this up, and we'll go zoom in a little bit. So this is kind of the reason why I say that this is a little bit more intermediate. It's not necessarily a beginner, because we're assuming that we've already gotten the administrator username and password. So it's better if you haven't done so already to go watch the videos on the gaining the administrator username and password, so that you kind of know how we got here. But so we have SSH administrator at, okay, it's the THM work domain. So we're doing SSH into the THM work, which is the very bottom one. So that's the IP address for it. So you just do SSH administrator, yada, 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 and then you just press enter. And then it says, hey, do you want to do that? And you say, yeah, I do want to do that. And then you have to do the password. TryHackMe would not guess one at. That is the full password. And there we go. Okay, so we're here. Now I need to go to the folder that has Mimikatz in it. And that is inside of the tools folder at the very beginning. So right here, we see that we have a tools folder right here. And then from there, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. And then from here, I think I can do clear screen, right? Yeah, okay. So we are going to now go into tools, and then we're going to go into Mimikatz. Can you fill that in for me? There we go. And then we're going to go into x64. And here we should have the Mimikatz executable, which we do. So now we just type in mimikatz.exe, and it starts up. Yeah, of course I misspelled it. Mimikatz.exe. And there we go. And it just started Mimikatz for us. So just like that, we are now inside of Mimikatz and we've loaded it. So what we need to do is we need to do a hash dump, I think, first. No, actually, so what we need to first do is we need to do a sync of our administrator user. So that's the command that we just used, which was the LSA dump. So I will clear the screen one more time so you can see what's going on. And here's the command. That's the full command. And okay, so I think the issue was I was actually trying to use the administrator account to do my initial sync, and that's where the problem was. And the instructions say to use a lower privileged account to do this. And it could be, I would say, any of these guys right here. So if we go to let's say Aaron Jones, for example, because that's the one that was used at the very, very beginning of this instruction. So I'm just going to launch from where I am right now. I'm just going to launch the Mimikatz, and let's see if I can just copy this path and paste it instead of having to do manual. Yeah, there we go. This is why it's awesome. There we go. Okay, great. So now we have this, and we can just run the command to do the LSA dump using, let's say we'll do Aaron. We'll do Aaron Jones. Is his name? Is that his name? I think it was his name. There's the paste. And then I just need to put, is it Aaron Jones? Oh, where is he? Oh, he's right there. Aaron Jones, yeah. So we'll do Aaron Jones. A-A-R-O-N. Aaron. Okay, so look at that. We have a bunch of stuff here. Primary W digest, packages, such and such. You have the credentials, the MD5, old credentials and current credentials. And then we have the, what's the AES 256, AES 128, AES, and then these are, I guess, the old ones as well. And then what else do we have? Random value for the NTLM. So this is the NTLM hash, and that's the supplemental, it seems. So these are the actual credentials for Aaron. So you have Aaron Jones, and then you have his NTLM hash. So it worked. We did the right command, and we were able to pull it from his information. And then we have apparently a bunch of different wdigest hashes. So that part did work, and none of this stuff is really useful to us because we want to be able to kind of like take a dump. Not take a dump like that. You know what I'm saying? We need to be able to dump the domain controller credentials. That's actually hilarious. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to try it with administrator, but I think I feel like I need to be able to do it with everybody's information. So, okay, so I figured out the command that we're supposed to run, and as you can tell, it's already running. So I'll just kind of show you in these series of commands what you're supposed to do. So basically what I did after this thing, and you've seen this part already, and I had to stop the recording and go back and figure it out and come back to it. But you saw this part already. And then what I did after this was I just jumped to this very last command, and I didn't re-specify a log file. And so when you're inside the Mimikatz session, you need to specify a log file every time. So I re-specified a log file, and I just called it all, I think all users DC dump, something like that. And then from there, I ran this one more time, and then as you can see, it's still running. So based on the instructions that they said, this is going to take a while. And let's see if it's still going. Yeah, it's still going. So this is going to take a while. However long this takes, it should be done, and everything should be ending up in all users, the DC dump file. And then from there, I can go ahead and transfer that TXT file inside of my machine right here, and we can either use the like a pass the hash attack, or we can just, oh, here we go, there we go, we got it. So we got it. These are all of these things. I don't think it's going to show me everything because there was way too many results that came in. Yeah, it's definitely not going to show me everything. So what I can do now is I can exit Mimikatz, and then let's see, maybe it's inside where we're at right here. Yeah, so all users DC dump is the specific file. And so from here, I wonder if I can create a Python server to serve this. http.server. No, it doesn't have it. So I can't do the Python server. So I'm going to do, I think it's secure copy. I'm going to do secure copy and transfer it into my local machine, in my Kali machine right here. And then from there we can continue by running the rest of our attack to just kind of take the hash values and mess with them, or pass the hash, or crack one of the hashes, so on and so forth. So we're going to do secure copy first, and we would need to run secure copy from our Kali machine. So I think there might be a way that you can do it from the Windows machine, but we need to do it from our Kali machine. So we're gonna run, I'm gonna just run it in the new terminal. Okay, so there you go. So it's a bit of a long one, but this is the command. So SCP is for secure copy. You have the first portion of the domain that you logged into, which is the administrator at za.tryhackme.loc, and then at thmwork1za.tryhackme.loc, which is the specific domain that we actually hacked into. So this thing right here. This is the machine that we first secured shell into. So we are using the administrator account on top of this particular domain that we're logged into. And then at the very end of tryhackme.loc right here, you do the C:, and this is the path where the file is currently sitting, which is inside of my C users, all users DC dump. And there's that. And then this very last dot at the very end just says that I want you to do it in the current directory that I'm in. So you can, at the very end of this, you can specify where you want it to be downloaded to. And then you could give it a path, or you could just put that dot. And so what that would do is that it would put it exactly in the current directory that we're in. So now that we have this, now we can proceed with the rest of the conversation, which is to either use pass-the-hash or to do an offline password cracking attack to recover the plaintext credentials for this. So let's see, I'm gonna do an offline password cracking attack. So if I do cat all users dc dump.txt, and then we can grep for the SAM username. Let's see what we get. These are all the SAM usernames. And then from here, we can also grep for look at all these usernames. This is crazy, and it's not even the full thing. So this is a lot. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm just gonna open this up and kind of search for it, because I need to be able to find the NTLM hash that's associated with our Kerberos ticket system. So I'm going to actually open it, which would be done with nano all users, and open this thing up. And then this is all of the users inside of this freaking thing. So giant document. And I'm going to search for the KRB TGT and see if we can find it in here. Oh, so it's not actually, it's a different search method. So it needs to be Control W. Since we're inside nano, it won't be this thing that works. We need to do Control W. And it says, okay, what do you want to search for? And KRB TGT is what I want to search for. And there is that. So KRB TGT is the object, and that's the SAM account. And now I just need the credentials for that account. And it's hash NTLM, which is this thing right here. So we're just going to take this and copy this, and that would be the answer for our question. And there we go. Just like that, we were able to find the hash value for the KRB TGT account inside of this giant file that we were able to download using Mimikatz. So as a quick review, what we did was first we went into Mimikatz by just, first we SSH'd into the machine. So that's the first part. We SSH, we secured shell into the machine right here. And then once we secured shelled into the machine, we went and ran Mimikatz by going to the tools and actually executing the Mimikatz executable. And once you do that, it gives you a new command prompt with Mimikatz being the beginning section of it. And then from here, this part was just an example of what we can do for Aaron Jones, but what we really wanted to do was get all of the users' information. So the first thing that you have to do after you're inside of Mimikatz is you need to enable logging mode, and then you declare the name of the log file that you want it to be using for that. And in that case, it's just do log and then give a name for it. And I did log all users underscore dc dump.txt. And so it immediately gave me the using DCB whatever text file for log file, okay. And then right after that, I ran this command. And then this took, and then you saw it, that's when I restarted the recording. You saw that it was taking some time and it was getting all of the information. And then when it was done, we were able to exit Mimikatz by just typing exit. And then from here, we saw that, and this is the very, very last part of it. So I exited Mimikatz right here. And then from here, we were able to look at the current directory that we were in. So we landed back in our directory. I ran a dir command just to see what's inside the directory. And we found our all users DC dump txt file. And then I tried to transfer it with a Python HTTP server, but that did not work because it's not available in this virtual machine that we're on. So the next best thing was to do a secure copy. And secure copy is done as simple as running secure copy, just like that. So this is the full command for secure copy. And so SCP, and then you have first the username at the domain that you logged into, which was the administrator at za.tryhackme.loc, which is our overall username that we had to be able to log in. And then we logged into this specific part of the domain. So just so you can see what that looks like inside of this portion, this is kind of what's important here, is that we first got into za.tryhackme, which is this overall thing. And this is what we set up when we came over here. And this was the overall domain that we connected into. Now within this domain, there's all of these other portions of the domain, including the THM work1 computer, which is what we SSH'd into. So when you want to do secure copy, you need to do the full thing. First, you do this part, so administrator at za.tryhackme.loc, and then you also do at, so this is the other part, right? So administrator at za.loc at the machine that you actually secure shelled into, which was the THM work1, and that's where that is. So that's that. And then from there, it says the actual path that the file is in. So we did colon, and then the path that the file was in, and then I just put a dot just so it can transfer it into my current folder. And then when I did that, I can't see it anymore, but it asks me the same question when we originally secure shelled. Hey, are you sure you want to do this? And I'll do this one more time. And then now instead of this, I'm just going to put it inside of, so let me kind of get rid of all of these things. We'll do ls here, and we have the desktop. So I'll just transfer it and I'll put it inside the desktop this time, so you can kind of just see the whole process again. So that's the full command, and this time I just want to do desktop. And so now I press enter, and it asks me, hey, what's the password for this person, right? So look, it's the full thing, right? So now it's asking what's the password for that person, and I need to find that password one more time, which is it's TryHackMe would not guess one at, and I press enter, and just like that, it finished. So now I can check that this is my old file that I downloaded in my current directory. But if I go inside the CD desktop directory and run that again, it should be in here. It said that it was completed. So let's see, maybe it's the root users, not our specific user. So hold on one second. Yeah, so because I did / instead of doing this squiggly line. So this squiggly line is the root folders or the root users desktop and documentation. And because I didn't do that, and I did / desktop, it created a new file called desktop. So it basically changed the name of the file of all users DC dump yada 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 to desktop, and now that freaking thing is this thing. So if I just run, I'll just run it just so you can see that it actually did work. But then I'm gonna help you kind of, I'll do it one more time just to like for sure make sure that it did work. So there you go, it actually did work, and then we have all the content from that. So I'll do it one more time. And that's my bad because I forgot that I had to do that little squiggly line. You see how when you do the squiggly line, it changes the beginning part of the command line. And then if I did ls now, it actually shows me the desktop. So the command that I was supposed to run when I did that secure copy, and so let's get that command one more time. There we go. So instead of doing just that /, I was supposed to do this squiggly line and then the /, and then it would have taken it to the desktop folder. And now I should be able to run this again. And just for the hell of it, I'm going to make sure that this is being done right. So I'll do desktop, and then I'll do all users.txt, just in case it wants to rewrite over my desktop. So now I run this again, and then it's going to ask me, okay, what's the password? So TryHackMe would not guess one at, and there's that. And now we have, so that's our original file that we first downloaded. And then hopefully now that when I go into desktop and do an ls, there you go, all users.txt. So now you know how to do a secure copy. And now you have the full set of instructions to run this particular exercise. And this particular exercise was a decent time. I think it took maybe, it's going to be less than an hour, but I think it's kind of riding up to an hour. So we're going to just call this particular recording, and then we'll do another recording for persistence through tickets. And these exercises are usually kind of time-consuming exercises because of what is required of them. So instead of creating one giant recording, I don't know if you prefer that. Maybe if you do prefer that, let me know in the comment section and I'll do a giant recording. But I think it might be better in the interest of ease of consumption to break this down to multiple recordings and just have multiple recordings for this particular room that we're in. But yeah, that was it for persisting Active Directory persistence through credentials. And we are done with this particular task. So if you are studying for PenTest Plus, or if you're studying for Ethical Hacker or any of these things, I do welcome you to like and subscribe, turn on that notification bell. And if you have any questions about what we just went through, or if you want to clarify some things, so on and so forth, definitely make sure to drop that in the comment section below. And especially when you actually turn on the notification bell, that you actually get notified the next time that a video comes out in this pathway for PenTest Plus, and especially in the module that we're in right now for persisting Active Directory. And then from there, we'll just take it, one task at a time, probably one video at a time, and just make it a little bit easier for you to be able to consume this information and kind of wrap your head around it. But that was it for the persistence through credentials task of persisting Active Directory. It's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers, your favorite network and system attacker. If no one else loves you, Hank loves you. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I will see you in the next part of this particular module for persisting Active Directory in PenTest Plus. So see you in the next video for this particular one. And I think I'm just going to record a bunch of videos and just complete this entire module before doing anything for SOC level 1 or anything else. So probably the next several videos that are going to come out from this channel are all going to be around PenTest Plus and persisting Active Directory, so that you have a good amount of information on what you can do. And yeah, we'll just take it from there. So love, peace, chicken grease. No one else loves you. Hank loves you. All that good shit. I'll see you in the next video. Later.